Yeah, make sure that's on. I'm not sure. Like, I have a chat section on the right hand side too. I'm just not sure if I'm going to have the same thing. I know you can highlight comments and stuff like we did before too, so that's cool.
Yeah. Well, we are live, boys and girls. Notifications. So.
Yep, I think it is live. I see the stream actually fired up here on YouTube. So I muted the stream, but I could see the stream. Just, I can't have too many different sounds going here. But yeah, I think we're live. Let's see, who do we got here? So I think we have Matthew. I think he's here. Getting the R6.
Matthew,
just watching
something, man.
Video. Yeah, I think he said he's watching my FZ getting the R6 stuff right on. So good
there
stuff.
He is. All right, man.
Yeah, Matt's there. Good stuff. All right, so Matt's in. All right, cool stuff. Yeah, so I guess I'll throw one of these screens up, and we can wait a couple minutes. And
there we go.
You want to go? You want to start with this one here?
Yeah, the thing about it is like we discussed last time. Even though we're technically waiting on people to show up, we are live, and this is going to be posted after the fact, and so people will be watching this regardless. So I guess we might as well get it kicked off. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am yours truly, Half Click Up. Joining me today is special guest RideThe6 coming out of Canada. He is a fellow FZ6R FZR rider, and he is a fellow expert, if there is such a thing, in all things Yamaha FZ6R. So, with all that being said, all the introductions out of the way, the topic of the hour, boys and girls, is the 2022 Yamaha R7. It's a bike that came on the scene in a hurry. It has a fanfare. What was basically a patent claim that it leaked out that Yamaha made a patent claim on the term R7 all over again. And a series of like 2 months went by. Next thing you know, we have teaser trailers coming out on Instagram and YouTube, hinting at something to come. And of course, just less than a month later, they actually revealed that there is a Yamaha R7. The thing about it is absolutely pink.
Yeah, there definitely is some.
Are you still with me? Yep, you are. All right.
Yeah, I'm still here. Oh, my cat's in the background. Yeah, like I'm not sure what they're doing with the naming here. Like it's very deceptive if you ask me. But I think where I want to start is I want to go back to a video that you did back in November of 2020. I don't know if you remember doing this video, the death of the 600cc Supersport. Do you remember doing this video? All right, so I want to start here. I want to start
that video well.
I want to start here in the comments. So I think I commented immediately after seeing that video. And then my comment was, when I heard this info on the R6, my immediate thoughts were the Euro 5 standards. The Daytona was a 675. It went to a 765. And I have a feeling you're going to see something similar with the R6. So that was the very first comments we made. And then you commented, yeah, that's an interesting point. A direct competitor to the Gixxer 750, perhaps. And then look at my comment immediately after that. Coming soon, the Yamaha R7. Did we not nail this or what?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
and then
look, real quick, Matthew brings up a great point. He says it's a twin scuff racer.
Yeah.
From a professional racing standpoint, that's its only chance. And you know what? I'm going to go out there. It's out of the discussion here, but I think it's too little, too late. Twin scuff performance. Yamaha is going. Mark my words. Yamaha is going to be chasing the tail of Aprilia RS660 from here on out. And 660 claimed 3 points in its debut, first, second, and the 660. So
Yeah.
I think Yamaha has a lot of catching up to do, and we'll get further on into this, but it has a lot to do with their engine choice. I'll go and say that straight away as far as horsepower compared to what Aprilia is offering in the RS660. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. I completely agree. I am absolutely shocked that Yamaha has gone down to a twin. Like you follow up a beautiful inline R6, and then you come out with an R7, which everyone thought would be like a 700cc inline four step up from the R6. That's what I was expecting, and that's not what we got, guys. We have essentially
Right.
I think a 68 or a 70 horsepower motorcycle. Right now, to me, this thing is no different than an FZ6R. I'm going to throw it out there early. It's no different than an FZ6R, other than it's a twin motor. And I bet you this thing will not even keep up with the FZ6R. Not a chance in hell.
That's an excellent point, man. Yeah, truth be told, now look, don't get me wrong. The thing looks fantastic. I think they did a great job. It essentially looks just like an R6, does it not? Except for the funny little central headlight thing, which you know, hey, I like to toot Aprilia's horn, but if you ask me, I think it was a styling cue they stole from Aprilia. Because how else do you explain the afterthought look that is that weird central headlight?
Yeah, like I agree. Like I think the styling on it looks pretty good. And if you ask me, it looks a lot like an R6. Um, if I can get to a couple pictures here, like you can see like the tank cover or whatever they have, it's got the little vents in the tank cover. The
Yes.
R6 was exactly the same, no different. And also the tail fins back here behind the rider seat, same thing. It was a beautiful feature that I loved on the R6, and they've carried that forward here on the R7. But again, it's almost like smoke and mirrors, guys. This is not even close to what an R6 is. Not even close.
I mean, I'm sure it's an absolute blast to ride, but I tell you what, honestly, I prefer, and I've never been on an R7, obviously, but I would venture to say that I would enjoy daily riding my FZ6R before I would enjoy daily riding on the R7, you know. And that also leads me to the next point here. This is not a replacement for the R6, guys. It looks like one, but it is not even in the ballpark of performance
No.
that the R6 is.
Just the motor configuration alone, like, I mean, you're going from an inline four, which has a really, really lot of pull at the high end, and then you go to a twin, which is notoriously known for maybe more grunt on the low end, but it really, really loses out on the high end. I've ridden twins. You gotta, like, even going up a hill, you gotta downshift the bike to get up the hill sometimes. Like,
Right.
you do not have to do that with an inline four. I don't even have to do that on my FZ6R. So I can imagine on the R6. Like, I'm like you, I haven't ridden the R6, but you know, I have something very similar, horsepower wise, to an R6. So, you know, but yeah, I'm really, really shocked with the motor choice. I don't understand.
Yeah, you know, and in that video that you went back to that I put out last year, one of
Yeah.
the things I asked was, what are they going to do with regards to competing with Suzuki and the GSXR 750? Which, I mean, dude, if you're going to graduate from, and I've always felt this way, and trust me, I realize I went a different direction with the Tiger. However, it is 800 cc's, by the way. But Yamaha evidently had no intentions on introducing anything to compete with the Gixxer 750 after they let go of the R6. They put this bike, it's definitely a moneymaker. Comment in my last video, or I'm sorry, I read it elsewhere, but it was a comment where a guy said, Yamaha made this bike make money, nothing more.
I think I have that comment here for you. Is it the one from Brian Haygood? Is this the one? As an R6 guy, the R7 being an MT07 in a skirt is quite sad. Is this the one? Far less power is just
Yeah,
the beginning.
you know what? That's not. That is an excellent comment right there. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I think
Anyways,
he's pretty bang
so
on here in his comment too. So,
yeah, this
do we
bike
want to start looking at
it's
some
upset
specs of this thing?
a lot of purists. I'm sorry?
Yeah. Do we want to start looking at some specs here, or where do you want to go with?
Sure, bring him up, man. Bring him up.
Oh.
Don't mind me if I go off on tangents and rants, though.
All right. Well, yeah. So this CP2 engine, like, I've never even heard of this racing. I don't know if it's a thing in the States. I haven't heard of it up here in Canada. Like, we do have a 600cc sport bike class that races fairly local. Well, they kind of race across Canada, so it's the Canadian Superbikes. But they do have a 600 class and a 1000 class. But I've never heard of this twin cup thing. Like, I've never heard of it here in Canada. So, yeah, this whole engine thing is all new to me.
Well, Twins Cup is a series. It's a series in Moto America, right? It just came out with the 660. It was pretty well dominated by Kawasaki, the 650. I think Yamaha and putting fairings on the MT07. Don't know if they're racing bike in the Twins Cup in Moto America. That I'm unclear of.
Right on.
But this CP2 engine is a revised MT. They redid the MT07 for a year, and the CP2 is a revision to the original 7 engine. Yeah, look there. Matthew says the SB650 as well. That's right. Yeah, that's Suzuki's entrance.
But
into that racing.
But that bike, like an SV650, like, it would blow this R7 out of the water. Like, it, the SV650 is right up there with the R6 and the 636. Like, it's not even the same bike, not even the same class, not even close.
Well, just bear in mind that the SV650 is a.
Yeah, but it makes more horsepower.
Indeed, it does.
Well, I mean, there's
Yamaha
is
too, wanting. Right? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's Ducatis out there.
Look, Yamaha is flaunting their crossplane design.
Yeah.
They like to do that. They like to advertise, hey, 270-degree cross-plane crank. You look, guys, all that does is give it sound.
Oh,
and
yeah.
As I was saying earlier, this upsets a lot of purists in the 700cc. And that is just one of many cat upsets sport bike purists, is that it sounds like a poser. It doesn't sound like a super sport. Because it's not a super sport, man. It's it's an MT07 dressed up in KYB shop. And you know what else? It's 414 pounds. The 660 is 400 wet. So you have a machine that put 30 less horsepower than a Aprilia and weighs 14 pounds more. It has an LCD screen. Now, don't let that confuse you either. It has no electronics package, man. Like, what you consider an electronics package really is rocking on that new 660 with freaking inertial ABS braking and all that wacky, crazy stuff. Dude, Yamaha's not even in any of that. Now, it's Yamaha style. On the same note, though, because XR, for example, it's just straight physical machine. It's an inline 4 with no bells and no whistles. Absolutely none.
Yeah, especially here in
there's
North America. Yeah, Over in Europe, I mean, you could get the FZ6R with I think ABS brakes, and it had a couple more features than what we have here. Now, there is a cool thing that I do see here in the specs of this bike. Um, so there's your 689cc cross-plane engine. So they have increased the CCs. Um, the first thing that caught my eye here is this slipper clutch. Now, my MV Agusta has a slipper clutch, and as we know, the FZ6R does not have a slipper clutch. So what that does, if you downshift really, really fast on an FZ6R, your rear wheel is going to lock up, and it might send you for a little bit of a ride. But on a bike that has a slipper clutch, you can downshift pretty quickly, and the clutch absorbs that extra rotational mass, and basically your rear wheel is not going to lock up. It's going to be a smooth downshift, and like you could come in really fast in the corners and just bop, like drop them down in the gears, and it'll do it. And the bike's not going to complain. So that's the very first thing that caught my eye here in the specs, that it does have a slipper clutch. So that's pretty cool. That's better technology what the FZ6R has. You know, maybe that's industry standard now, but I don't think it is industry standard.
I don't know. I can tell you this. I have never experienced a slipper clutch. And as far as I can tell, who the hell needs one besides a beginner? You know? Like, dude, if you don't have basic clutch,
yeah,
maybe you are a newbie, and maybe you can take advantage of something like a slipper clutch, but I don't know.
What is this? Get this
Not
off
my
my
cup
screen.
of tea, really.
Yeah, so basically, like if you're riding the bike aggressively and you're downshifting aggressively, the slipper clutch is going to come in really handy. So besides that feature, I did notice that they are saying you can get an optional quick shift on this bike too. Again, which is pretty cool. Like the very first quick shift bike I have is my MV Agusta over there in the corner, and I love it. Like it shifts gears so fast, so seamless. A human cannot replicate how fast these quick shifts actually operate. So that's another cool feature that I kind of like with the engine configuration, and it's an option. So if you don't want it, whatever, save yourself $500. I don't know. That's probably what it'll be, give or take. So what else do we have here? So it says comfortable riding.
Well, let me just posit this first real quick. Let me just say this with regards to price. I know we'll probably get on the price here in a bit, but $89.99, I believe, R7 starts at, without any of the options or accessories. The 660 is $11.3. Now, bear with me here. If you're gonna bother, who buys bikes cash outright anymore? Maybe I can't. That's something I've never been able to do, and you know I financed all of my bikes. But if you're gonna bother financing what's going to end up being close to 10 grand out the door, why don't you just throw in an extra $2,500, which equates to what, 25, 30 more bucks a month on your overall payment? Why wouldn't you just shell out that extra and walk a machine that has more horsepower, more rider aids and electronics? Yeah, I don't know. Teach his own. And I've said this too. This is going to be a test of Yamaha brand loyalty. You have folks that have been waiting forever for Yamaha to come out with another R7. Granted, this is not not what people were waiting for. I'm sorry, but it's just not.
Yeah. To be honest, I think this bike should have been called the Yamaha FZ7R. I think that's where they should have gone with the naming convention. I know you briefly touched on the suspension. So it's a 41 millimeter fork, right? So that's exactly what's on an FZ6R. And R6 is a 51 millimeter fork, and you can probably see it behind me. So this is my FZ6R with R6 forks. Like, it's a lot bigger, it's a lot bulkier, and it can definitely hand a lot more aggressive riding style. So even though they have done an inverted fork, it's still only a 41 millimeter fork, which is Like, it's your budget bike series, exactly what you were talking about in the price point, right? Um, so hopefully you can see this. This is kind of cool. I had this link sent to me by Yamaha, actually. And it is actually a 3D modeler. Hopefully I can manipulate it here. I'm not sure because I'm running on a laptop, so I don't quite have the same amount of power as my desktop. Hopefully that's coming through all right. I have like 8 windows open or something. So yeah, here's some of the options you can get with the bike, guys. So they have one thing called the sprint screen. To me, it just looks like an aftermarket windscreen. If I click the little plus sign here, you'll see it just, it's the same screen, just tinted basically. So that's a $100 option, US, I would imagine. And if I can rotate this,
it is a good looking bike.
It does look pretty good, I gotta say. Like, although I'm not big on colored wheels, like a full solid colored wheel. It wouldn't be my choice, but like the styling is pretty good. I might have too many windows open here. I might have to close a window or something. So here's the quick shifter. So your optional quick shifter is $199 US. And again, like you say, spread over like a 5-year term financing the bike. It's peanuts. It's nothing. So you might as well get it. Right. So another thing here. So Yamaha Team Racing frame sliders. I can actually click them and it'll kind of put it on the bike if it goes right here basically. I don't know if you can see my little mouse hand. Basically it attaches, there's a hole already cut right in the fairings here, and it bolts right into the frame. So it goes right here. Like, my laptop is very sluggish. I can't show you too well. But yeah, another $199 option, guys. Now, this is probably...
if you go with the GYTR frame slide FC6R, there's little bullseyes inside the fairings where you're supposed to drill. Not very many people realize that.
There is. Like, you are absolutely correct. There is a little mark, just a stamping on the back of the FZ6R. But like, I'm trying to get a
setup. It was made for it, eh?
Almost. You almost think they planned for it. But I'm trying to get a set of... I wouldn't mind getting a set of frame sliders for my bike, but I'm looking for the Shogun S5 Carbons, and they're completely out of stock, and I have no idea when they're coming back in stock. Just, you can't buy anything these days. Everything's sold out. Everything you're trying to get is sold out. So the next accessory for the bike...
So you had all these accessories on this thing, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say, you had all these accessories, and is it showing the price increase?
Hold on. Let me move the bike out of the way, and I'll do that here in a second.
I'm curious because if we're real-time building one with actual price, we get a real-time comparison as to what it looks like up against the 660.
I believe it will, because it has MSRP here and it has price as configured. So if I add the screen, oh yeah, there you go. It is changing. If I add the quick shifter, if I add the frame sliders, now guys, like, this is going to be a unicorn piece. I'm telling you, if you've got the FZ6R, the rear seat cowl is impossible to find anywhere. So if this bike is only going to be in a short production run, you might want to think about adding a seat cowl for $129, because that's cheap. Trust me. And
that's a great price if it's color matched too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Then we have a fender eliminator kit. Like, this is new. I haven't seen this offered from a dealer ever before as an option. Have you ever seen this? A fender eliminator kit offered?
I have not.
Yeah. So that's very interesting to me. Believe it or not, this is more than the seat cowl. $175 US. And then the last item is a radiator guard. So if you add all those 6 options, and I believe that's the only options you can add, there's your sticker price. You're still under $10,000. So, but I think at that price, it's pretty well equipped. I mean, as an entry level bike, I think it's well equipped.
Okay, but here's my point. What's the price now?
$9,898, and the base model is just under 9,000.
So we have priced at 10. I guess
basically,
my point though is you start adding all of these accessories, and you start approaching 660, but without the real advantages. I mean, the real advantage, the additional horsepower, the electronics package that rivals the RSV4. You know.
Yep. So Matt has a question here. Didn't the other screen show 10.5? Okay. Yes, it did, Matt, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me find my page here. So this page here, this is Yamaha Motor Canada. So their MSRP here is $10,799. But if I go over here, this website is YamahaMotorsports.com, which is US. And as you know, there is about a 20% currency exchange difference between the US dollar and the Canadian dollar, obviously costing us more generally. So that could be the difference, what you're saying, because this is 9,000 US, and that might equate to 10.7 or 10.8 Canadian. But again, this is probably the base model. This is 10,799 for the base model, and this one would be 8,999 US for the base model. So I think that's why you're seeing difference in price between the two screens. But yeah, so color options. You want to talk about color options? There's not many. There's only two. So you got black. Like this thing's midnight black, man. Like everything's black, black, black. I guess black bikes are popular. A lot of people have black bikes. Yep. And then the only other option is the blue. So
I'm digging the blue, man. I'm a big fan of Yamaha blue.
Yeah. You know, it's classic Yamaha, you know.
Yeah.
All right. So there's kind of your options on the bike, guys, that you can get from the dealer. And again, like I say, some of this stuff, like the fender eliminator, that is definitely new. I've never seen a dealer offer that. And even a screen. Like, I don't think I've seen a standard screen from a dealer either as an add-on. So you got a couple different options. But, you know, and Matt's got blue is the only option. Yeah, I kind of agree, man. I'm not really a fan of like cars that are black, bikes that are black. If you're doing any riding at night, you're almost invisible to everybody on the road. And, you know, it's for me, it's a safety thing. In the day, it's fine, but at night, you are completely invisible.
I tell you what, man, you know, obviously there's going to be an aftermarket for this bike because it's a Yamaha R series motorcycle. But when it comes to power, dude, your only option is going to be, you know, a slip-on, maybe a full, say like Two Brothers or Graves, something like that. You pop a fuel controller on there, and then what? You'll be like equal to an FZ6R. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just not, you know, I get it. You know, I went with an adventure bike just now, but you know what? I bet you that 800cc triple would eat this thing's lunch. Just call it a hunch.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. My other bike's a triple as well, and it's a triple 675. But it's got more horsepower than an R6. It's very, very quick. And even your 800, I'm sure it's got lots of low end grunt, lots of pull. Like, are you liking the triple? It's different.
Yeah, it's very linear power. It's like I've said in a couple of my vlogs. It's as close as you can get to like an electric motor sensation. Because if you nail those shifts, and it's not hard to nail the shifts on this bike, it's the craziest thing. But when you do nail the shifts, you can't feel them. There's absolutely no sound change. There's no feeling. There's no shudder to the bike. It's absolutely seamless, and it really is like an electric motor. You know, I guess it's just a Triumph thing. I'm not sure, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good, man. It's a comfortable machine for sure.
Yeah, I actually rode one bike, and it was a BMW S1000R, not the double R, just the BMW S1000R. And my
Yeah,
comment at the end of the test ride was, man, I can't even feel this thing shifting. Like every time I shifted gears, I actually had to look at the gauge cluster to see if it had actually shifted gears, because there was no feel or no feedback at all from the shifter or from the bike itself. It was like butter smooth. I don't know how else to describe it. But yeah,
yeah,
even though it's cool, I don't necessarily like that feeling. I like having the feedback from the bike, like so I can know what gear it's in without having to look at the dash.
yeah.
Right?
I'll tell you what, man. The FZ6R gives you all the feedback you want.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
she's a little rough shift in the FZ6R. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm going to close this window just because it's really slowing down my laptop. But anyways, so yeah, just some 3D views, guys. Um, I'm kind of with you in the front though. Like, what do you think of the headlight? What do you think of the center mounted headlight? You know, like, do you like it? There we go.
Again,
There we
I
go.
think they did the headlight absolutely perfectly, except for the middle bulb, which is that even functional? That ram skink is fake. So what you're looking at there is completely aesthetic. Is it a projector bulb? That's what it looks
It to me it looks like a projector bulb, and I believe if it's anything like the FZ6R, it would not have a functional ram air induction. The R6 does, however, but the FZ6R does not. And I'm willing to bet that this bike also does not have a functional air induction system. But, you know,
yeah.
I'm not sure if I like the light, to be honest. I don't know if I like it at all. It's weird. It's weird looking.
Why they didn't just
Oh, I think you cut out for a second. Hopefully it's not me cutting out. Oh, there you are. Are you back? Yeah, I think you're back. All right, so I'm going to close this window. Um, here's kind of a better, here's some better looks, I guess, of the bike. We can go into the gallery if you want. We could take a couple peeks. Oh yeah, let's start. Let's look at this. Now, what do you think of this top tree? It's very interesting. Like,
so it's an adjustable suspension.
that's correct. The suspension is adjustable. It has the standard adjustments too, like compression, rebound. It has standard adjustments. I don't know. It's probably not up to par with like a 51 millimeter high end fork or anything like that, but this is definitely an upgrade over an FZ6R because, as you know, the suspension is not adjustable in an FZ6R at all. It is what it is, and the only thing you can do is
Yeah,
put in a different fork weight.
they were really wise in where they chose to put extra stuff to keep the cost under control. Which I believe is why I have an LCD display that is nothing but pretty. You know, it doesn't feature a real electronics package. It's just pretty.
Yeah,
but
pretty.
the price, well, technically under 10 grand, and is it's comparable to the suspension setup on the 660, for example. Very comparable. Even the top of the triple tree there is comparable.
Yeah. What I do find interesting, though, they didn't machine this top triple tree out. On a newer model R6, all this stuff is machined out, right? Just to save a little bit extra weight. And Matt, you are correct. One side is compression and the other one is rebound. I don't know which side specifically, but usually that's how it is. One is compression and one is rebound. All right. Oh, got another comment there. You want to put that one on the screen, half click? Are you able to highlight that comment from 600cc Garage? There we go. All right, read it out for us.
After seeing this bike and the specs, I will not buy this bike. I honestly don't like the R7 much at all. I feel like a popular sell for Yamaha. And I just replied to him and I said, that's a fair point. It can go the complete other way in that it tanks instead of frishes. The MT-07 is a hot selling bike, but the MT-07 is a naked bike, and that is all the rage now.
Yeah.
So this will be a tough test on as to whether or not fairings is still as popular as we hope they are.
I completely agree with you. Like, it seems like everybody wants a naked bike these days. Like, I'm going to be honest. I'm a classic style guy. I actually like the fairings on a bike. Like, I think the FZ6R looks okay naked. You can kind of see it behind me here a little bit. Like, it looks okay naked, but I'd rather ride it with full fairings, man. I think it looks better with full fairings. I'm just that classic style kind of guy. You know, so yeah, it's a good point. 600cc Garage is a very good point. And also to your point, half click, this will be a big time test to see if there is still a market for a fairing motorcycle. I hope there is. Yeah. Definitely not. Definitely not. All right, so here's a couple more pictures, guys.
You look like ass, though.
So there's your front of the bike. The cool thing with the R6 that I always liked was the double headlights. I think it looked awesome. I still like that style personally. So, but there's a look at your R6 with your lights on, or sorry, your R7. Gauge cluster, which we've already talked about. Oh, there's a prettier shot of your gauge cluster.
Yeah.
And here's the tail section. So you can see they brought this directly over from the R6. I like it. I like the styling of it. I think it's cool. I'm glad they brought that over. Picture, some lean. Nothing special on these photos. All right. So let's go. Do you want to look at some of the specs in depth a little more? Like, where do you want to go here on the bike now?
Yes, I believe we should.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get a little technical.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked about the slipper clutch. We talked about the quick shift. Okay. This is the next thing that I'm not sure about. It says comfortable rider position for excellent handling. Now, we all know the FZ6R is a very comfortable riding position. If I look at this,
even with a clip-on modification, it's still super comfortable.
So yeah, you have clip-ons on your bike, right?
Yeah, I've got the Woodcraft clip kit.
Okay, and you said that style is still comfortable with the clip-ons.
Absolutely, man, because the rider's triangle is already very friendly to begin with, and when you add clip-ons to something that's already a relaxed position, it really doesn't change the dynamic. In fact, I would venture to say it's more of an advantage of having the best of both worlds, because you can tuck like you'd want to in a super sport position, but when you get tired of that, you can literally sit straight. Yes. Which is something you can't do on an R6, for example, because you have such aggressive rake, right? Your seat is a 20-degree angle or whatever.
Yeah. As I look over at my other bike, I know exactly what you're talking about. Extremely aggressive riding position, and you're always down on your wrists. It's totally a different riding feeling. So if I look at the bike here, let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. Oh, there we go. Maybe I can. You can see the handlebars, they are still lower. So I think this doesn't have like an FZ6R style bar, it looks like it has like a set of clip-ons, so it could be a very similar riding position to what you have now on an FZ6R.
Yes, yes. Yeah, as a matter of fact, if you look at the seat and how flat of a plane that is, it is, if guess, I think I'm pretty accurate in this statement, it is literally like an FZ6R with clip-ons. I'm willing to bet that's exactly what this bike feels like when you sit on it.
Yep. I think I'm with you right there. I think it's going to be very similar to what you have. So again, I don't think anyone's test ridden this thing yet. And to be honest, guys, I have not looked at another single person's review of an R7. I don't care. We're going to review it the way we want to review it. Obviously, we can't ride it yet.
Hey, Chase on 2 got invited by Yamaha to the big track event. I think it was out in Atlanta, and he is out with a first ride review like in the next week or so. I think this coming week it's out.
Interesting. Well, I'll
tell you this.
He's got a whole camera crew. He's got a whole camera crew. He's got a whole production, everything. Like, you and I are just one guy. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I'll tell you something though. Chase on 2 wheels was the first I had ever seen of the FZ6R, and his first ride review, he rode a white one that had clip-ons already on it, and that pretty much swayed me right there. That was my, I know I get emails all the time from subscribers saying, dude, you're the reason I bought an FZ6R. Well, Chase on 2 wheels is the reason why I bought my FZ6R.
Yeah, I've had a couple all that. Well. I've had a couple people say, hey, would you buy this bike? Would you recommend it? Obviously, it's an all-around yes on an FZ6R. All right, let's see what else we have here. Lightweight frame. So again, it doesn't say. You said the weight on this bike is what, 414?
414.
414. So your motor's probably going to be lighter than an inline 4. So I'm wondering, have they gone away from a steel frame? Have they gone to an aluminum frame on this bike? Like, it might show down here a little bit.
No, they did not. Below. They did not. I read that it's still a steel frame. It's got lightweight forged pistons, for example, so they did weight savings with aluminum on the engine. But I think it's a steel frame with aluminum, some kind of aluminum cross members to it.
Okay.
It's like a hybrid.
So it is. I mean, so it is a little bit lighter than an FZ6R. We're at 467 on an FZ6R, stock, that is.
Yeah, she's probably big.
Oh yeah, she is, man. She, you get it. She likes to lean though, and she's really good on the highway. Slim proportions for aerodynamic control. Inverted fork with excellent front end feel. We've talked about the front forks already. They are KYB forks from what I was reading as well. It's a 41 millimeter KYB inverted fork. Now this is something, if we can find a picture of this, the rear shock absorber has been mounted in a bit of a different way. I don't know if we have a picture of it.
Now, it's still a monoshock, right?
It is, but it's mounted differently. It's mounted more. If I can zoom in here a little bit more. Oh, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I zoomed in too far. Hold on. Let me get back to where I was. So you could kind of see here in the picture, the shock is mounted more horizontal between the rear swing arm and, like, I guess probably the engine or the engine mount or the frame. Like it's almost mounted horizontal. And ours is more like an FZ6R is more vertical. Even an R6, if you look at an R6, the R6 is more vertical as well. So I'm curious as to how this new suspension design might play out on the bike.
How does that compare to the orientation of the rear shock on the R6 example?
Well, let's just pull up an R6, but I believe
Just wondering where they got that design cue from.
it's different for sure. Okay, so here is just trying to see if we can't get a picture, something better. Oh, you can't see it. Yeah, it's very hard to see. Let's try to get let's do a more specific search here. Oh, I don't want the shock. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Matt's right. Ducatis are like that. Yeah.
Some of them are. Yep. So again, like how would that convert? So an MT-07, for example. Let's take a look at maybe the shock.
Yeah, supposedly it's using the exact same swing arm as the MT-07 too. So they didn't bother changing that. All of the change suspension wise was on the front with the forks, unless that rear shock is indeed different. It very well may be.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be. So it'll be interesting when some of these first rides come out, and just to see what people are saying about the suspension. Brembo master cylinder and Brembo radial mount brake calipers. Now, this is specifically going to only apply to the front brakes. I thought I had a better image on the back brake, and I don't believe the back brake was Brembo. We can double check it.
Yeah, it's probably Nissan like everything else.
I think it was Nissan. When I looked at another picture, I believe it was a Nissan rear brake caliper, but I think so. They're saying a front Brembo master, which is up here on your handlebars, and radial mount calipers, which is so the radial mount. They have taken that from an R6. The FZ6R is axial mount, so it's a little different the way the brakes mount. So they have carried that forward from an R6 platform, I guess. And we're going to find out what that feels like soon, because I have the R6 brakes on my bike. So once I get the brake lines tidied up, I'm really going to feel what an FZ6R is going to feel like with an R6 type brake setup. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, you know what's funny? It's probably going to end up feeling like an R7.
I think it's still cheaper to do the R6 front end conversion. It's probably a lot less time consuming though, just to go buy an R7. But I think you're bang on. I think I don't know, man. I think this R7, it's the new FZ6R.
600cc Garage asks, isn't the R7 going to replace the R6? No. It looks like an R6, and that's it. And in every other respect, from professional racing to type of buyer, you know what I mean? Somebody who is in the market for an R6 style bike, but is ready to graduate on further, is not going to graduate to an R7. They're going to go straight to an R1, man. Or they're going to jump the Yamaha ship. They're going to completely jump Yamaha altogether. Which, you know, hey, if it was me and I was still wanting to go up in the super sport genre, dude, I would probably end up on a Gixxer 750. It is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, 600cc. It is not, and that's what we were talking about earlier. You probably joined a little bit later. It is not a replacement for an R6, and I think a lot of people are going to be very upset with the naming convention and what they're trying to portray. This is not an R6. Like it's about half the horsepower. It's no different than having a Yamaha FZ6R, to be honest.
They might as well have just kept on producing the FZ6R, man. You know what I mean? It's like if you wanted a true replacement, it's funny. If you wanted a true replacement for the R6, because you know what, the R6 was too racy, too expensive to insure. It was just too much. The power band was all on the top end, and that aggravated folks. Dude, they should have just kept producing the FZ6R because that is a fine replacement for the R6. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, and you can see here, like if you look at here's some of the engine specs for the bike. So again, 689cc inline twin, max torque of 49 foot-pounds. If I'm not mistaken, that is very, very similar to an FZ6R. I bet you it's almost bang on the money.
You know, you might have a better seat of the pants. Seat of the pants. You might have a better seat of the pants feel on an R7, just because of the design of what is essentially an MT-07. They're notorious wheelie monsters, right? So you'll have all the low to mid-range torque and all that stuff, but with the 4-cylinder in an FZ6R, I think I'd probably get them on the big end. You know, think I'd get them on the big end.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah. So what else are they saying here? So we talked about the slipper clutch. Yeah. Forged aluminum pistons. Like, we're not going to get down into too much of this stuff. Like, but you can tell, like, 50 foot-pounds is pretty good on a bike that produces about 68 horsepower. And again, it's right around where the FZ6R is. So the frame, so you're right, it is a steel frame with a rigid mount aluminum center brace. So there you go. It's kind of a hybrid frame. Again, it's probably for weight reduction, I would assume.
Yeah, weight reduction along with maintaining that price point, right? Not reinventing the chassis altogether for cost control. I mean, it is an attractive price point for a very physically attractive machine. It's just, dude, again, if I'm going to drop that kind of coin, I'm going to go the extra mile just a little bit and get something like the 660. And then you're still in 2-cylinder territory, you know, so you still have to deal with that. Like,
yeah, the 660 is a whole different, like, it's a beautiful bike from what I've seen. Man, it looks impressive. But again, it's a twin, and I'm not big on twins, you know. So what else do they have here? So they talk about the intake duct, but again, we don't know if it's a functional intake duct. We suspect it's not. Twin eye look on the R7 and a bifunctional LED headlight, so it may not be a projector. Low profile fuel tank and compact clip-on handlebar position. So there you go, confirmed. You've got clip-ons on the bike. 41 millimeter fork, inverted. Rear spring adjustable. Now, this is something that is not standard on an FZ6R. It does come with standard ABS. So this is the first mention I've seen anywhere in the specs where they've mentioned ABS or traction or anything like that. So this is a bit of an upgrade, I guess, for an R7. What else do we have here? New LCD instrument cluster. We know that. Gear position, fuel capacity, real-time and average fuel economy, water temperature, clock, and more. Gear position sensor is not bad. It's a cool thing. Nice little feature to have. And that's about it. LED.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it on I have a gear shift indicator on my MV Agusta as well. I do like it because I do look at it from time to time. And the last thing here they're talking about is the LED turn signals. So I guess that's a bit of a change for Yamaha because every R6, every R1, every bike that's ever come from Yamaha has the 1970 style yellow indicators. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All right. So they don't have
from every little style to every little suspension nuance and different things, they did as best they could. If you're going to have to recycle a freak engine from a previous model, I guess about as well as you can actually do, right?
Yeah. So the only other thing here under features and specs, 5-position adjustable brake lever. I think even the Yamaha standard FZ6R had that. I don't think that's an upgrade. Lockable steering. I don't think that's anything. My cat's going crazy over here. O-ring drive chain. I haven't really looked very closely into what an R6 has or what an FZ6R has, so I don't know if that is a change. Maybe you know. Have you done a chain half click?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Have you done a chain on your bike, like on your FZ6R?
Like a chain replacement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my 5th chain.
Wow. Oh, that's right. I forgot you have like 60. What is it? 60,000 miles or something?
64. Yeah.
Wow. That is impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah, I'm getting about 10,000 out of every chain, give or take.
Right on. So what else
What did it
O-ring
say,
drive chain.
Does it say the size chain by chance? Is it a 520 or 530?
It does not say. It does not say. I would suspect on a budget level entry bike, it's going to be similar to the FZ6R, and I think our chain is it a 530 chain?
No, we have a 520 on the FZ6R.
Is it a 520? Okay.
Now the R6 has a 530. So I'm wondering if it's literally, so from what I read, they changed the final drive ratio on the R7 so that it has a better power delivery pants really than the MT-07. So with that being said, I wonder if they brought over the same chain setup, which I believe is a 520.
Yeah.
That's just unusual for a super sport.
Yeah, they don't have those specs here. Now maybe there's a way to dig further down in, but like this is just off Yamaha's website. So one-piece chain guard, who cares? Means nothing. Excessive lean angle engine cutout switch. If the unit is on its side, the engine will shut down. Let's hope that never happens.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be leading that far, guys.
You know, with the power output it has, it probably doesn't need anything more than a 520 chain.
Yeah. Well, and from what I understand, that's kind of why our bikes have a very, very heavy duty chain. Like it doesn't need to be light. It's more built for ruggedness, like what I understood with the FZ6R design. The R6 is a little different. It's built for speed, right? You want less rotational mass. You want a lighter chain. So, and you're pushing more horsepower too. Yeah.
He says no elbow dragging, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
We don't know, right? Like, it looks like the seating position, maybe it has like a higher set of foot pegs. I bet you could lean this bike farther over than an FZ6R. Because when I find the foot pegs
definitely.
great.
It's got rear set. Yeah, it's got rear sets. You know, you'll be able to drag with the best of them on this machine. It's just for how many seconds before it technically shuts off, I guess? Surely not.
Yeah, like it's interesting. Like I think I think the bike would have to be over like pretty much 90 degrees. I think that's what they're talking about. It's just a safety cutoff to shut the bike off. You've probably seen a couple videos where somebody's got their bike and they've dropped it in a parking lot and the bike's still going around, it's running, and they're trying to shut the bike off. It's crazy. So you don't want that. All right. So there's a little bit more here in the engine. So the bore and stroke, this is definitely a lot larger, but it's a twin. That's to be expected, right? This is larger than an FZ6R. And if I had an R6 spec, you know, it'd probably be larger than the R6 too, just because it's a twin versus an inline four. So not really a lot of stuff here that we're gonna get into, guys, to be honest. But we know it's not making a we know it's not making 130 horsepower like an R6. They're saying it's 68 horsepower, 70 horsepower. Like it's going to be in that range, I believe. What else do we got here? So brakes, I think 298 is the same size rotors that are on an FZ6R.
I believe so.
I believe it is because I now have R6 rotors on my FZ6R, and I believe those are 310. An R6 rotor, I think, is 310 or maybe a little bit bigger on a newer R6. So I don't
One
think
thing's for sure is it's going to be the same as the MT-07.
Yep, it probably is. And if we compared it, I bet you're really close. But again, the only difference is it's equipped with ABS. How's it going, Tiger? Yeah, so not much there, guys. Like, you know, standard stuff, 41 millimeter forks, adjustable monolink shock. Brakes, we don't think there's going to be, these are not going to be equivalent to an R6 brake setup. Definitely not. And yes, yeah, there you go. So here's your frame. So here's some length, some width, height, wheelbase. Rake and trail.
Well,
now
all
this
of that should have carried over directly from the MT-07, right?
It could be. Rake and trail, I know this is different because you remember I did a rake and trail video, and I think
yes,
the R6 was, I think, 24 degrees. I don't remember right offhand, but I did do a video comparing the differences. So they have said that there has been some changes in the rake and trail, and that's mainly going to affect your turning and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Ground clearance, seat height. So seat height's about 33 inches. So if you're a short rider, you might be on your tippy toes a little bit.
I wonder what the seat height is on an FZ6R.
30 inches.
30?
On the low setting, it's 30 inches.
Okay. So I ride mine on the high setting.
Okay.
So I think that might confirm basically what I was talking about earlier, in that the R7 will be basically an FZ6R seating position with clip-ons.
Yep. Yep. And
that's not terrible. That'll be a comfortable ride, man.
I think if you're riding your FZ6R with the high position, you're probably in around this range of 32 inches. You might not even be at 32 inches. It might be a little bit smaller. I don't have the exact measurement. I actually ride mine on the lower position, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, so 414 pounds. So it's going to be heavier than an R6, I think, but it's going to be lighter than an FZ6R. And colors are blue or black. So so there we go, guys. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to have an Aprilia 660, man. I know you talked about that bike for a long time.
Day, man.
You talked about that bike for a long time. I thought you were gonna buy. I thought you were gonna buy an Aprilia, man. I really did.
Yeah, you know what though? I can't put my kid on the back of the 660.
Yeah, you'd have to strap him to you, right? Yeah, nice looking bike. But I think you're right. Like this could be the king of the 600cc class right now. Like, can a Ninja 636 compete with this thing? Like,
oh yeah. You know, a Ninja 636, the ZX6R is very relatable to the R6. You know, this new class of 600cc's that's coming out, you can't really compare them to the 4-cylinder counterparts. You know, this RS 660 puts out 100 horsepower. So just bear that in mind. comparing that to an R6, and it's what, 120, 130.
Yeah.
Kawasaki, on the other hand, doesn't actually publicize their horsepower figures. Everything is just kind of a guesstimate on the public's part.
It's funny. A lot of bikes, like even that MT-07, or sorry, even the R7 here, they are not advertising the horsepower. So if you don't know what you're buying when you go in to pick up this bike, and you think this is just oh wow, this is the new R6, it's not, guys. It is not an R6. The horsepower, it is not. So again, the naming convention, I think it's a little deceptive, and they don't tell you here. They tell you how much torque it has. They tell you how many cc's the bike has. They don't tell you what the horsepower is.
Even on the YouTube clip, man, the commercial, the sound is an awful lot like the R1. Now I get it's a cross-plane engine, so it's going to have that sound. It's just like the RS660 has a very similar sound to the RSV4. That machine is a 270-degree crank as well. Yamaha, it just calls it cross-plane to be fancy. But I swear they were using R1 sound effects in that commercial. Like, it was just a little bit too throaty to be a two-cylinder machine. It'll have the same gargly sound, but it won't be that dang low. It just won't. It's going to sound like a poser on the street. There's no way around it. Look up, just hypothetically speaking, if you're ever on YouTube, look up MT-07 Two Brothers exhaust and sample that sound. It's like a 1990 Honda 4-Trax ATV. Is precisely what that, and I can't stand it. I'm not a fan. It is a poser of super sport machines, man. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So I see Tiger says he's going to sell his FZ6R and he's going to pick up an R6. What year R6 are you looking to pick up, Tiger? Just curious, because even the R6 model changed year over year. Ghost says, get a Busa. I think I might be afraid to ride a Hayabusa. It's way too many CCs for me.
Got no damn business on a Hayabusa, man.
But you know what? Like, I have actually had people tell me they are very, very comfortable bikes for touring, like over a long ride or long distance. And I'm like, how can that be? Like, you're really stretched out.
They're just so damn big.
I guess it probably breaks the wind really easy on a highway, but it's a big bike.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even like the hump in the back of the Busa. I never liked it.
It's got a certain cult following to it.
Yeah. I mean, they're popular.
Just like the Gixxer bros.
Yeah. So, so let's talk a little bit about, like, is this bike available? So just like the Hayabusa, when they released the new Hayabusa, it was sold out almost instantly, guys. And this bike, when I went on the other day and I went to look to see if it was actually available, it was not available, completely sold out. So maybe there is a following for this R7. Maybe people want this bike.
It's a limited pre-production ordering thing that went on when it first debuted that same day, and pre-order slots were filled by lunchtime. I don't know what that means in terms of numbers, but evidently they sold several thousand of them straight away.
Yeah, because I got the email from Yamaha. Sorry?
I wonder how Aprilia did when they debuted the 660. I think a lot of people are under the impression they didn't sell very many of them, but I think they sold a buttload of 660s, man.
Oh, I think so, but there was a lot more hype and a lot more build up to the 660. I think I even saw
Yes,
one at
yes.
the motorcycle show here in Toronto. I think I saw a 660 at the show, but I mean, no one's seen. Well, technically, here we haven't had motorcycle shows for 2 years because of COVID. And even now
Yeah.
here in Ontario, everything is still locked down, dude. Like I still can't go get my hair cut. Like we are still in lockdown here. It's absolutely insane. Um, but yeah, there's no bike shows. So the Toronto Indy's just been canceled. Um, this weekend right now is the May 2-4 long weekend in Canada. We usually do there's usually car racing going on up our local track. Canceled. Everything canceled. NHL playoffs are on the go. There's nobody in the seats, but if you look in the states like, Carolina, Washington, Boston, there's people in the stadiums. We are in complete lockdown here. It is ridiculous. And I see Matt saying here, my
Hey,
local
man.
dealership doesn't know when they're going to get anything in from the
Hey,
Big Four.
let me just tell you, the great Republic of Texas welcomes you. You just let me know when you get tired of all that frickin' snow and all this COVID lockdown in your life. Quit doing what you're doing, kind of thing, man.
Yeah.
You can buy yourself an RV and live in a camper, by God.
Yep. It's yeah, we didn't have a lot of snow this year. So yeah, Matt was saying they don't. So again, with COVID, guys, there's a lot of stuff back ordered. Um, it's not just motorcycles; it's computer stuff, like anything you normally buy at Home Depot, like barbecues, bicycles. Like there's a huge backlog on everything, and this is just to our the supply chain. The supply chain is running at like half capacity right now.
Dude, isn't there a freaking ship sitting out in the ocean full of Yamahas right now? There is literally a cargo container ship stuck in the ocean for some reason. I don't know if it's a tariff situation or what, but there's a cargo ship full of Japanese motorcycles in the ocean right now. Look that up.
Really?
It's all over the news.
That's
Yes.
hilarious. Like I've actually shut the news off for the last probably month. I haven't listened to any news. I'm just so sick of it. But that's crazy. If there's a ship out there full of like motorcycles, man, that would be sick.
Yeah, maybe somebody in the chat can confirm for us, but that's a thing, dude. It's weird.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It's almost like the Suez Canal thing all over again.
Yes. Yeah.
That was some crazy stuff. Um, so yeah, like I don't know. What do you think, guys? Are you gonna buy an R7 if you had the money and if you could get it tomorrow? Would you go buy it? Let's see a yes or no in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying.
Yeah, and along those same lines, man, if you are not viewing this live and you're just watching after the fact, drop a comment down below. Let us know,
Definitely.
What would you buy right now if you had the money? Would it be an R7 or would it be something else? Would it be a 660?
Or would you go out and would you hunt down an R6 before they're all sold out?
Yeah, you're gonna pay like 13 or 14K out the door on that thing too, man. It's crazy.
Yep. And you know what was interesting back here? This kind of goes back to the comment that was from your last video. Actually, let's pull that up real quick again. Let me see. Oh, it was your Fizzer Friday. So basically, I guess let's talk about the reason why they've come out with, or why they've discontinued the R6 a little bit. The R6 and the R1 on a track are almost identical. Almost. Coming out of a corner, the R6 is probably going to be faster than an R1 coming out of the corner, but down the stretch, the R1 is going to blow it away. But on a track, it's probably what? I don't know, 2 seconds, 3 seconds lap time maybe difference. And that's kind of why I think that's kind of why they've got rid of the R6, because there's not enough difference between the R6 and the R1. And I don't think the R6 we're selling is kind of what I understand. And if you read the comments here, it says the R7 bridges the gap between the entry-level R3 and the prestigious R1. So that speaks exactly to that point. I think they nail it right on right there. Like, they've created a variation again between the R1 and the new R7, but it is not an R6. It's not near the specs of an R6, and this does not replace the R6. It's just a new bike, guys, with a similar naming convention. And I think Yamaha got it wrong on the naming convention. It's weird.
It's a damn good-looking disappointment is what she is. A damn good-looking disappointment.
And you know what? I bet you it's a very, very good entry-level bike. I bet you this is good, and I bet you this is going to sell. I think it will.
You know, the FZ6R was a great entry-level bike, and it had a good nearly 10-year run.
Yeah.
Do you see the R7 making a 10-year run?
That's interesting, and I think, I don't know. I mean, the R6 had what, a 22-year run?
Yeah. A dominant run too, mind you. A dominant run.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this bike's going to make a 22-year run.
No, I don't think so either. But look at Matthew's point. He doesn't think it bridges the gap at all. I think he's kind of correct. I think it's mostly on Yamaha's part. Yes, or it bridges the gap between those two motorcycles, but from a real power and real world standpoint of what you would experience on an R7 one, holy crap, dude. You're in line to kill yourself. I mean, I would graduate FZ6R to an R1 and have enough commanded respect for the machine. But the R7, just, it's an MT-07 with bearings, man. I really wish they would have done something else with the engine. They could have went ahead and kept this CP2 and brought it over from the MT-07, but I really wish they would have like freaking bored it out. You know what I mean? Bore it out and make it like a 750, a 749. I don't know. Maybe that's ridiculous. Maybe they should have just used a different power plant altogether. Maybe they should have put a 4-cylinder 700cc motor in there, and then you have something to compete with the Gixxer 750. That's what I was all going for, man. If they were going to come out with this freaking bike. And with that being said, again, I'm kind of ranting, but it's disappointing to me. It really is.
Yeah, and I have to agree. Like, I'm disappointed. Like, I understand, R6, R1, there's not a lot of difference. I mean, there is still a lot of difference. Like, I've ridden some leader bikes. Like, I rode the V4 Aprilia Tiono 1100 factory. Like, it's got so much power.
Yeah.
Like, it sinks your eyeballs back in your head, dude. You can't even imagine. And I could have bought one of those bikes, but I decided to stay with a 675 triple. Like, I don't really think I need a 1000cc bike on the road anywhere. Like, you don't need it, guys. 1000 cc's is ridiculous. And not only that, but if you can find an insurance company to even insure it, it's tough, especially if you're a younger rider. Insurance is going to be hard to get and very, very expensive.
Yeah. I'll bet you this R7, well, I don't know. I wonder what it's going to be like on insurance.
I think it'll be
is that R label going to just destroy it?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, we have the FZ6R, but it's labeled, that bike's labeled as sport touring, right?
Yes.
I'd be curious to see if this bike, you might be right. Like, is this going to get labeled as a super sport? Is insurance going to be high on the bike? Again, I don't think anybody knows these things.
I'm building this thing as a genuine super sport. and its power plant alone screams not a super sport.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Like it has the super sport
dude,
stand, but it doesn't
if
have the
you buy
super
an
sport
R7,
motor.
if you buy an R7 and find out that the insurance is going to run you like $120 a month, I'd return that bastard. I'd take it right back. You know, there is no way.
I'm paying about, I think, $75 a month for my FZ6R, and it's a super sport. Even though it's got the R, they know the bike is not a super sport. It's classified as sport touring. So $75 a month is pretty good. I know in the States you guys probably get a lot better rates. We tend to get hosed up here in Canada a little bit more. So,
dude, you want
Ghost, look at Ghost.
to know something?
Ghost says he needs a 2000 cc bike.
What's that?
Ghost says he needs a 2000 cc bike.
Hey, if you scroll up there, Ghost Anime said ship that got stuck in the canal has all the Yamaha's Ducatis on it. The ship's been seized by the authorities until the owners pay $900 million in damages.
Oh,
good Lord, man!
Well,
you'll never get a Yamaha or Ducati ever again.
I hope there's no parts on those container ships, because I had some parts on order too. Yeah, so yeah, I guess to rescue the bike or to rescue that ship out of the canal, you got to pay for all those construction crews and all the labor and all the gas. That's crazy. I had heard that somebody was going to get a bill. I don't see anybody's going to pay it, but you never know. Maybe what was on the boat is more valuable than that little fee, but who knows?
Yeah. Hey, along with what Matthew just commented there, I was going to say, man, I'm about to hurt your feelings because here in the States, I switched to Geico here like 2 months ago, and my FZ6R is $11 a month.
What?
With only liability. Yes.
Oh,
with only
okay.
liability. And my Tiger, get this though, my Tiger 800 is financed, so it has full coverage, and it's $21 a month.
Wow. Oh, we're definitely getting ripped off here in Canada then. And the funny thing is, even on my MV Agusta, I actually went through a broker, and normally you get your best rates. Even my MV Agusta is like $150 a month on insurance.
Damn.
Yes, it is expensive. that is a thing with some of these bikes. Very expensive. Some people here in Canada can't even insure bikes because a lot of places want 6 years riding experience up here. Like it's tough. A lot of people have to start on a 250, a 300 right now. The insurance is going to kill you.
Again, if I could make a recommendation for anyone about to get in the bike life, the Yamaha FZ6R. 4-cylinder, old generation R6 engine. Put some clip-ons on it, man. You have a super sport, you know. Put an exhaust on it. Sounds like an R6.
It is a little heavier. It is a little heavier, but it's a great all-around beginner bike, man. Like, you know, I still got my old baby here too, and she's been down twice, and she's still running, so I'm keeping it.
Yeah, that's like mine, dude. I couldn't get rid of it. It's paid for. It's been paid for years.
And that's the thing. You know, mine's paid for too. So, you know, what's the point in selling it? I'm just trying to see if there's any more pictures here. Yeah, they don't really have any more pictures here on the R7. Nothing else really to go through. But yeah, so it sounds like you guys get a way better deal on insurance than we get.
Sounds like it. Well, anyways, I think we pretty well covered this bike, man.
Yep, I think so too. I mean, you know, we don't have a whole performance crew behind us, guys. Like, this is just us with our experience comparing kind of what we have and what we're seeing. So, but definitely drop comments, guys. Half Click and I are both very active in comments. I comment on almost every one of his videos. He comments on almost every one of my videos. So we're both very active. yeah, I don't know. Overall, I think it's a good looking bike.
Yeah.
I would love for Yamaha to say, here, can you go test ride this and do a review? I would love it. But
yeah, I'll be looking forward to Chase on Two Wheels review, because I know they let him ride the dog snot out of it, no doubt. And he's pretty good about his first ride reviews. So I think that's coming this week, man. He posted something about it being like on the 28th or something. So I think it's coming up towards the end of this coming week. I'll be looking
okay.
forward to that. That video is probably going to get like 1 million views within the first week, I would imagine.
Of course it will. So Mulek says he loves his F6. I love my F6R. Waiting on my clip-ons to come in. Can't wait to get back in 4 to 5 weeks. Yep. Well, Half Click's got the clip-ons, man. He can tell you all about the clip-ons.
Easy peasy, man.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the Woodcraft ones
that one of my first mods too.
The Woodcraft ones you have, you don't have to take your forks off to install them, correct?
Say again?
Your Woodcraft clip-ons that you have, you don't have to take your forks off to install them, right? Like it's kind of split in half, and you put
you
on and you bolt it in.
You loosen them and wiggle them. Yeah, you loosen them up and wiggle them until you get enough clearance that equals the clamshells. About 2 inches lowers the bike in the process.
There you go. Mulix, what clip-ons did you order? Did you order the same ones that Half Click has, or did you order something different?
Vortex makes a clip-on kit as well, but Woodcraft freaking pioneered the technology, so I definitely went with Woodcraft.
Yeah, and you have risers, like you have a riser style, right? Like clip-on with risers.
Yeah, it's a 1.5-inch rise. You have to run the 1.5-inch rise, otherwise you won't clear the side fairings, those black trim pieces.
Yep. No, I know exactly what you're talking about, because essentially when I put the R6 forks on the bike here, I was worried that because I was essentially lowering the handlebars, I was worried that my risers, because I do have risers on the bike still. It's a custom top tree, but I was worried that maybe it wouldn't clear the fairings. But I've already done the measurements. I've had the fairings on, so I don't think I'm going to run into that issue. So essentially, I'm going to have more of a, I guess, a Street Fighter style R6, if you want to look at it that way, with the higher bars and the risers. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm looking forward to seeing the road.
It's coming real soon. So right now I'm just mocking up all the brake lines. I have to order a custom set of brake lines, and I'm probably going to do that this weekend. To be honest, I've been really lazy, man. Like with all this lockdown stuff happening, like, you know, it's always 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Like it really, like, you lose interest in doing stuff, guys. It's depressing. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to the bar. You can't go watch a hockey game. You can't go to a movie theater. Like, if you go to the park, the police are chasing you down, trying to give you tickets. Like, it is absolutely insane up here, and it's depressing, dude. It's ridiculous. Like, it is nuts what's going on here. So hopefully it all ends soon and everything will go back to normal. We'll have bike meets again. We'll have motorcycle racing again. Right now, none of that stuff is happening. So it really sucks. So
it's like you're living in a damn movie.
What's that movie? The Truman Show with Jim Carrey, where you're living in the bubble?
That's it.
I think Truman Show, right? It's what it feels like, man. Like I went for a ride today, but it really, like, I wasn't feeling like riding. Like I just have no drive right now, because there's nothing to do. There's nowhere to go. So I was like, but I did force myself to go out on the bike today for about an hour, hour and a half. So I did get out riding. But yeah, like, man, this stuff, it takes a toll on you guys. I got to tell you, some days I'm bored. I don't know what to do. Like, all I have to do is send the measurements back for the brake lines, and I'll have them here probably in a week. So yeah, so once I get kind of motivated to actually just take the brake lines off and measure them and send them in for a proper a custom fitting, then it'll be done. It'll be on the road. It's just I'm not motivated. All right. What's Mulek saying there, half click?
I'm typing a response to him now.
Yep. Do I see risers? I didn't think I did. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right. Let me all right, guys. This is going to be, let's see. Let's see how close I can get you. So that is, this right here is the R6 triple tree, the top tree. This piece here is a custom piece that was manufactured in the UK specifically for this build. You can buy it. The whole front end, so the forks, the fender, the wheel, the brake calipers, this is all R6. And what I've done, I've built the custom top tree so that I can mount the standard FZ6R bar on an R6 setup. So that's what I've done, and it is going to be on the road soon. But like I say, I lost a little bit of motivation. I just got to measure up the brake lines and get that sent in. I could probably.
Question for you.
Yeah, man.
What was your motivation for sticking with the standard bars?
I really like the style. And actually, you know what it was? I'll tell you exactly what it was, because I like how the bar is very straight across the middle. And my plan is to mount a really nice GPS on that straight section on the FZ6R bars. So that was kind of my motivation, but I like the higher bars. I find it's more comfortable. I have another bike that's very aggressive, and it's not comfortable, like especially over long rides. You did say you were
leaving you'll be leaving the fairings off. It'll be a Street Fighter.
Well, it's only going to be a Street Fighter in the handlebar setup, basically. Okay. It's going to be a full fairing Street Fighter is what it's going to be, basically, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, so that's where my project is, guys, on the FZ6R. And
hey, you guys see my latest, huh? Look at that.
Yeah, I know. I watched the video today, man. That thing is wide in the back now, man. She's got hips.
Got wide hips, man. I like them. She's
got hips. Yeah. So you've got this is full touring, right? Like this isn't sport touring. Yeah. This is touring.
The very definition.
Yeah. And you're liking it so far?
Yeah. It's different. I say that a lot, I know, but it is. It's a completely different riding style. It's a little bit more power, but seating positions totally different. But with my kid on the back, he's got so much room, man. You know, that top case doubles as a backrest. It's got cushions on the front side of it and everything. And I don't even feel them back there. So as soon as we start getting some destinations lined up, it's going to be fun. It'll be a whole new genre of motovlog too, man. Start filming some of these trips.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's really cool. Matthew says big ol' hips. Yep, you're right. She's got big ol' hips.
But anyways, okay, so real quick, what are we? We're just a little over an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
Let's recap. But I'll give my synopsis first.
Sure.
The Yamaha R7. Aesthetically, they did it right. Cost savings wise, they did it the best they could. You have an upgraded suspension setup. You have an LCD gauge cluster that does not include an electronics package, but it does look pretty. You know, that goes a long way nowadays. I mean, weight wise, power wise, pretty average. If I had to do it, and I get it, again, it's a budget thing. They basically took an MT-07 stuck a competition style suspension onto it, gave it a pretty little display, and there you go. Evidently, that's an R7. You be the judge.
Yeah. I'm very similar. Like, I am disappointed. I really, really was hoping to see a higher CC inline four to actually replace the R6. Pretty disappointed. They still call it the YZF R7 too, so they've stuck with the exact same naming convention. The R6 was a YZF R6, so I don't understand why they stuck with the same naming convention. The styling is good. It looks really clean. The rider's seat, the passenger seat, the fins on the tail. It all looks really clean. I think they cheaped out a little bit here on the top triple tree. I think this should have been machined out to match more what the R6 like would look like. But again, it's probably a cost savings thing. It gives you a little bit more performance without a big price tag. You've got some adjustable forks in the front, which is different. You got some LED, an upgraded, more modern look from a factory Yamaha, which I think was long overdue. LED headlights, long overdue on this bike, or on any Yamaha bike actually being released. But yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to an FZ6R, guys. I don't think it's going to have the high end pull that the FZ6R has. But
not
I
even
really
close.
think this is the new FZ6R. And talking about the run time on this bike, I don't think you're going to see a 20-year production run on this bike. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10. We don't know. But this is not going to be another 20-year production run similar to the R6. So,
and again, I hope they didn't shoot themselves in the foot carrying over that YZF-R7 nomenclature when it comes to insurance costs, because it's going to be a terrible surprise for these new riders thinking they're hot stuff on their new R7 with their, 2-cylinder motor, and find out that they're paying an arm and a leg for insurance every month on a machine that really, in my opinion, the FZ6R should cost more on insurance than an R7. So I'll just be real curious, see what that looks like.
Yep. So would I. I mean, I could probably make it a call to an insurance company tomorrow and ask, but it's so new they might not even have it in their price books yet. And one really important thing, guys, like before you buy any new bike, it doesn't matter what bike it is, before you buy any new bike, call around first and get quotes on your insurance. You don't know how many stories that I've heard where someone's gone out and they're like, oh yeah, I went out and I bought an R6. I went out and I bought a Gixxer 750. Come to find out they couldn't get insurance on it. And then the bike basically got returned to the dealer and they lose money sometimes. So always check your insurance prices first, guys, before buying a bike. Always.
Yeah. I did it on the Tiger, and I had already picked out the Tiger. And I kind of did it backwards. One of the last things I did was finally verify that the insurance was going to be affordable. And luckily it was like, I think $11 more a month or something like that than what I'm paying for the FZ6R.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fair point, man. Bikes are relatively cheap compared to cars in most cases. It's the insurance that gets you.
Yeah. And you guys are definitely better off in the States than we are here in Canada, I can tell you that. We get
evidently.
Yeah. I don't know, but can you insure a bike down there for 6 months of the year, or do you have to pay for a whole full year?
As far as I know, it's pretty standard to go full year.
Okay, yeah, it's the same here. It's all loaded for like the months that it's really nice weather up here. So it's all prorated, I guess is what you call it. They don't charge you anything for the winter months because you can't ride here anyway, but they charge you nearly double for the summer months. But it all gets prorated out in the end. And if you're to cancel your policy, you're not saving anything because it's winter time.
Wow.
You're not paying anything anyway. It's kind of a scam. Insurance is kind of a scam. I have a whole story on the MVA Goose I could tell you some other time. But yeah, not a big fan of insurance companies.
Matthew brings up an interesting point there. If you take the MSF course, you can get a discount. I didn't take an MSF course. I bought my motorcycle. I bought my FZ6R. I didn't even own gear yet. I bought it. I secured the bike and got all the rest of my stuff later. And I kid you not, I rode that bike to the DMV to get it registered. And I didn't have a motorcycle license, nothing. I showed up on that motorcycle, took the test on a computer, and got the little endorsement on my license, walked back out to the motorcycle and rode it home.
Wow. So that's crazy. Yeah. Well, I did something similar here. So to Matt's point, so MSF, I guess that's Motorcycle Safety something Foundation or Fundamentals. I'm not sure what you guys call it in the States. Up here we have
Motorcycle Safety Foundation. Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, so up here we have something similar. It's like riders training, same thing. So we have different classifications of motorcycle licenses here in Ontario. We have an M1, we have an M2, and we have a full M. So M1 is your written test. M2 is after you do your safety course, you go in with an M1, you come out with an M2, and you have to hold it for 60 days or 90 days before you can upgrade to your M2. And then you have 5 years to go from an M2 to a full M. And the full M is basically a road test with a car following you with a headpiece in your ear, and they're telling you what to do on the bike. Change lanes, pass the car, overtake, right, left, whatever. So I actually have my full M now. So believe it or not, I get the best insurance rates, even though I'm still paying like $150 a month on the MV Agusta and about 75 or 80 bucks a month on the FZ6R. So I have done the training course. I've been licensed for 6 years, going on 7 years, and I have the top level motorcycle license. So there are no more discounts possible for me. Like that is the best I could get.
What a pain in the ass.
Yep. Dude, this is Ontario, man. There's so many rules. It's crazy.
Going up the comments there, kind of missed a few of them. Matt says he's disappointed, but he's sure the bike is a blast to ride like most are. I would agree. I'll bet you it's pretty damn fun to ride. Guys like us, though, would get bored real fast, I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe not, but
Well, you definitely have to drop a power commander in there, just like we did on the FZ6Rs, and then rock a nice Hindle tune. I saw somebody else in the comments. I think it was 600cc. He said he's rocking the Hindle tune as well. Awesome, awesome, awesome stuff.
Yeah, dude. Anybody who knows anything about the FZ6R is running the Hindle tune nowadays. And if you're not, you should be.
I've had a lot of emails, man. I've probably sent it to 30 people.
Me too.
Yep, yeah, awesome. Word's getting around slowly that the Hindle tune is better than the Marthy's tune, guys. So it's a leaner fuel mix, and it doesn't rob power from the bike. So yeah, everyone that I've given it to has liked it.
Moloch gives us a thanks for doing what we do. You're quite welcome, man. I appreciate that.
Definitely.
It is fun.
We don't do these very often, but when we do them, it's cool. And it's a little hard for me to do them in the winter. It's about minus 30 degrees here in my garage in the winter. But right now, we're at about 20-degree weather right now, Celsius. It's comfortable out here. I can sit here in shorts. So you may see some more of these through the summer. Who knows?
Hey, Matthew, just get the PCFC. Save yourself some money.
And Ghost was saying he was riding his first 2 years without his license. Wow.
Yeah.
It's
just a little letter.
That's a little risky, man. Like you got to hope nothing ever happens or nobody ever, pulls you over. It's it could be a big fine.
I think what he meant to say is he didn't have his endorsement for 2 years. He had a driver's license, just not the endorsement.
Oh, I would imagine. Is that so? You're talking about the endorsement from the safety the safety course?
No, you have to get a rating, so to speak, what they call an endorsement. It's literally like a letter M on your license, for example. And it just says that you've passed the test.
Right on.
That you're legally endorsed to operate a motorcycle.
Cool. Well, yeah, up here, I never understand. And you know what's even worse, guys? That like, I don't know how. I expect most of you guys are from the U.S. There's probably not a lot of Canadian people here, but there might be some that watch the video. The absolute worst thing about the motorcycle license in Canada, if you get your M, which is your M1, and then you get your M2 within 90 days or whatever the time frame is, if you do not go get your full M license within 5 years, do you know what happens? You go back to M1, all the way back to the beginning. And what that means, no riding after dark, no riding before dawn, definitely no alcohol. There's a lot of restrictions on an M license. So it's very different here than I'm sure that it is in the States.
That's garbage.
Yeah. And I know people.
Put your mask on, man. Put your mask on.
This is what I think of the mask right here. Right here. No more masks. My motorcycle helmet is my mask. That's it.
Yeah. I got to where I was just leaving my helmet on and walking in the grocery store.
That's all I do, dude. That's the only way to do it, because I hate the mask. Like, but I do the same thing. Cool.
Well, what else, guys? Any questions from the audience? I mean, there's just a handful of you.
Yeah, I actually haven't even got over to look at the live stream to see what's happening. I know
we peaked at 6.
Woo, huge. That's all right.
Hey.
Man. It's all good. We know a lot more people watch the video. Especially here in Canada, it's a long weekend. A lot of people are away. So there'll be a lot more people watching the video. And I will expect there'll be a fair number of comments as well. So.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure we'll end up sparking up quite the debate in the comments of this video after it publishes.
Yeah, there's still a lot of
the PCFC. That's the Power Commander fuel controller.
Yeah.
It's different from the Power Commander 5.
It is, yeah. My Power Commander 5 is right here on the bike. There is my Power Commander 5 right there. This is the location that they tell you to install it. So that's what I did. I don't necessarily think it's the best location, but it's where I put it. So
that's where my PCFC rides.
Okay, so it's probably the same matting location then. It is interesting though that you could still run the same mat that I sent you from the Power Commander 5. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I got it.
Yep. Hey, if it works, and it saves the money,
Yeah.
Flat.
Yes, Matthew. Dynajet. That's right.
Yeah. Dynajet, Dynojet, I think. Yeah, Dynojet.
Dynojet.
Yeah, Matt's just flatten the curve. Oh. Yeah, so
I think it's like $270 on eBay. Something like that. It's sub 300, I want to say.
Yeah, there definitely is a price difference. And Matt, to your comment, we have flattened the curve long ago, my friend. Now it's about pushing vaccines into people's arms. That they don't even care about flattening the curve anymore. They're saying they're not going to open until 60%, 70%, 80% of people are vaccinated, which, in my opinion, is communism. It's not right what's happening here. So
I'll take my chances with my 99.9% effective immune system.
Exactly.
That's just me.
That's too. Just me. Me too, man. Like I'm not taking a shot. Like I never take a flu shot, and I'm definitely not taking a vaccine that's been rushed out and has no testing on long-term effects. So I'm with you, dude. I'm taking my 99.96% chance of not getting the shot.
Dude, 99.9%? Like, what the hell's the matter with you? That you would think you need a shot. Oh, well, it's about protecting others.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the freaking panties you wear in your face. Right.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways, we don't need to get in all that.
We're not going to get into that because that's a whole different thing. But I completely agree. Like, why are we vaccinating healthy people? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, good job, Matt. You don't get the flu shot. Good job. I don't either. All you got to do, keep your immune system high, guys. Drink orange juice. Get lots of sleep. Eat and drink as healthy as you can. That's all you got to do, guys. And if you can't do that, pop some multivitamins, man. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Vitamin D, go outside.
Right on. So Matt's asking about your Tracer 9. So
yeah. Hey, does anybody else see that congratulations on the 100 messages?
I did just see that, actually.
How about that? Yay!
Yeah, right on. Awesome.
Well, hey, we got it's probably wise to keep this at 2 hours like last time. But since we have about 10 minutes left, let's go ahead and entertain Matt and pull up that tracer.
Ooh, okay.
Mr. Screen Commander.
Let's take a look, baby.
By the way, guys, I'm on my laptop and only my laptop. RideThe6 has a second display. He's been the one controlling all of the screen time there. Yeah, it's just easier.
Let me tell you, I've had a lot of experience over the past year of doing nothing but video conferencing calls, sharing screens. Man, it's so yeah, I have a lot of practice at this stuff. All right, there's your Tracer. 2021 Tracer 9 GT.
Yep, so it's an adventure bike. It is not as off-road focused as some ADV bikes. It's more of an ADV tourer.
But look at those gold forks, man. Woo! Those are hot.
Yeah. Hey, my Tiger has gold forks. Like them a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You see there, it's featuring some hard cases. It's nice.
So, have you ridden your bike yet with the cases on it to see how the weight is?
No.
Okay. We'll wait for the next video.
Here, dude.
We'll wait for the next video for that one. Right on.
Yeah. That'll be its own video for sure. Yeah, it's been stormy here every day. Like it's drizzling right now out here. So.
Wow, that thing looks mean,
I just put them on yesterday.
Yeah, Matt, so I do have a hot tub as well. So I've been in the hot tub the last 2 nights, sitting there outside, watching hockey from my hot tub and having a couple beers.
Dude, that Tracer looks killer.
It looks very aggressive. And it looks like it has a center stand, I guess. Did you put a center stand on yours, or did it come with it? I forget.
I installed one. So the thing about my Tiger, it's what they call the Roadie edition. It's just a standard Tiger 800. It's not like an XR or anything, or an XC. So it does not have wire wheels. It has cast wheels, very similar to what you see right there.
Yeah. So 889cc CP3 engine. So I guess that means it's a triple.
Yes, that is a triple.
KYB suspension. Does that say carbon fiber aluminum die-cast frame? Is that what that says?
Ooh.
All new lightweight CF aluminum die-cast frame? Does CF represent carbon fiber?
What's the weight on this thing?
Let's go down to the full specs. Chassis. Oh, they are not. Oh, wow. 485 pounds.
Oof.
That's heavier
My
than
Tiger.
one, buddy.
Yeah, my Tiger's 475 actually.
Okay, so you're right there.
She's heavy. Yeah. Ghost Anime says he needs a touring bike because riding cross country on his V-Rod sucks. Hey man, I rode Evelyn 1,300 miles over 4 days straight.
Wow.
And it can be done. It can be done.
Did you
At
put extra
60,000
padding?
miles.
You put extra padding on the seat though, didn't you?
I did not. I purchased a knockoff. I think it's called Airhawk. It's an inflatable seat, and I brought it with me, and I didn't use it a single time.
Wow. Yeah, Matt, the FZ6R is 467. If you've modified it like I have with an aftermarket exhaust, and maybe you do a battery mod, you put a new lithium battery in there, you can get it down. I don't even know. I don't know what the low end point of the bike would be, but the exhaust
Probably like
drop.
450.
I think it might be more because the exhaust drops at least 10 pounds, and I think the
that's
battery
a good
mod
12
drops
pounds.
at least another 10 pounds.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know where the low end weight point is that bike, but I'll probably find out soon because when my original battery finally dies, I'll put a lithium battery in there. It's still running 6 years later. So
yeah, my first one lasted several years.
yeah. Well, the original batteries are made by Yusa or whatever, and they're one of the top battery manufacturers. So they're supposed to last. Let's take a look at the gallery here. Let's see what we got. Oh,
now,
yeah.
that's the Tracer GT. I wonder if there's a regular Tracer that has wire wheels.
That's
kind of like
point.
the Tenere. Of course, the Tenere is available as a 700 or a 1200, I think.
Yeah. Oh, look at that
those
screen.
gauges, dude.
Yeah, that's interesting. Eh? I've never seen anything like that. Interesting.
How about it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not my style yet. I'm not into the touring bikes yet, but I have been. I will say, I have been contemplating maybe picking up a dirt bike and doing some off-road adventures. You never know.
Yeah, yeah.
You never know.
You can go dual sport.
Yep, you could. Ooh, look at those shocks. Oof.
Yeah, they went all out on that thing, didn't they?
Even labeled Tracer GT, KYB. These are electronically adjustable front forks. If I'm looking
Dude, how
at that
expensive
properly.
is this bike? I said this was in my top 5, but obviously I didn't research it enough.
MSRP is
actually the Tenere was more so in the top 5, but I did briefly look at the Tracers.
Yep. Well, this is about 17,000 Canadian, so
goodness gracious.
It's pricey. You might as well go buy an R6.
Yeah. Well, a brand new Tiger is in that ballpark too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I have a 2014.
Yep. No, it's actually a pretty nice looking bike, Matt. It's pretty nice. There's a Tracer 9 that doesn't have the bags. Okay. It's very possible. Yep. For a touring bike, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I like that bike. That's a good looking bike. That front end is freaking mean, is it not?
It's aggressive.
That is sick. I like that. Matthew, get one, damn it. Get one and shoot some vlogs. Let's see it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll let Matt buy one and do some view content for us.
Hell yeah.
Right on. Cool stuff. Well, I might go enjoy beer in a hot tub, so.
Nah, I've got to do some grilling, man. I'm grilling some salmon for the wife and I.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I barbecue it on a cedar plank. It's just fantastic, dude. It's so freaking good.
It's the only way to do it.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we're done here for the tonight, at least till the next episode.
Good 2-hour run. We peaked at 6, folks. That's all right.
That's all right.
We'll get plenty of views on this, though. It's a fresh, brand new topic, this R7.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think people are open to all sorts of commentary on the thing.
Yep. And I think anybody new in the market that just says, "Hey, look at this! It's an R7. Oh, it's taken over the R6." I think they're going to be disappointed when they start digging into the numbers. I think
so.
As all of us are here, I think we're all disappointed with at least the naming convention of the bike. It's fine to have a new bike, but don't call it an R7. Call it an FZ7R. You know?
Yeah.
It's misleading. Yep. Cool.
Well, all right, everyone. There we are at 2 hours. I suppose we should wrap this up.
Yeah, I think we're good at 2 hours. I kind of expected about an hour and a half, but I think we went a little over, but you know.
Yeah. It's all good, man. Well, if you made it this far, which I think Matthew's been in here the entire time.
Yeah,
Thanks, Matthew, for watching.
Matthew was number one. Ghost has been here for a while, and I don't know if 600cc is still here, but yeah, thanks for joining, guys. You know, we kind of do this stuff for you guys, so you know, we don't really get too much out of it, but we do it for fun. We do it because we are passionate about motorcycles, and yeah. But leave a comment, guys.
Yes, comment down below. Ask us questions. We've got answers.
We might have answers.
All right. Well, guys, until next time, it's been fun. We'll do this again sometime. We'll pick a different topic and we'll rock and roll with it. So anyways, guys, this has been me. That's been RideThe6, and that's been you. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Goodbye.
Later, guys.